It's recording. Peace, love, and light, everyone. I'm so excited today. Today, we have my beautiful cousin, Nneka Hall. As you may know, I am the CEO and founder of Village Sis Doula LLC. But the biggest part of Village Sis Doula is the village, okay? And I contact my cuz. She has a wealth of information, knowledge, wisdom. She offers courses that so many of my village sisters has taken and need to take. If I need advice, support, always that person that I say, to lift me up, to keep me grounded. And it's a blessing to have her as my cousin because she's amazing. So I'm going to let my cousin, Nneka Hall, introduce herself and tell her what she does. One great thing that I admire, so many great things I admire, but one thing specifically as it relates to policy making and having that voice at the governmental level to really, really make sustainable change. And also bringing other individuals in to understand the steps to take that are necessary to make real sustainable change. So please introduce yourself because I'm so excited.
Well, my name is Nneka Hall. First and foremost, I'm a mom. My babies are 20, 15. I have a spirit baby who would be 10 now, and my little one is 6. I am the founder of Quietly United and Lost Together, which is an international organization that provides support to families who suffer the loss of an infant from conception through age 2. We keep these little memories, these little spirit babies, alive in the work that we do. I am the creator of the Advocate series. Right now we have fertility advocates and we're training fertility advocates, and we also have pale pregnancy and infant loss advocates, and we're training pregnancy and infant loss advocates. Next year, I will re-offer my menopause advocate training and see what else is coming because I'm ever growing and ever changing. I am a commissioner on the Ellen Story Postpartum Depression Commission. I am, I don't know what else. I mean, I've spoken at Harvard for Pay twice. I was featured in the This Is My Brave documentary, and of course you hear my family, we're all at home right now, so I'm gonna go with it. Let's see, what else is there to tell about me? I went to the State of the Union this year as my Congresswoman's guest. In 2016, I was one of the nominated change makers who went to the very first U.S. of Women Summit, which was hosted by former First Lady Michelle Obama and Oprah Winfrey. Yes, I'm still waiting for my swag. So if they happen to see this, the empty bag, I still have my empty bag, but I'm waiting for Oprah to come back with my swag, y'all. Okay.
Yes.
I said that. I have to say that every time I'm on screen because I was like, wait a minute. There are 5,000 of us here and they give us just a bag. But no, they gave us a lot more than a bag. We came to face with people we would never have had the opportunity to meet, including President Obama, Vice President Biden, so many artists and advocates, and just to think only 5,000 of us were allowed and there were only 100 people selected as nominated change makers. So that was wonderful. Let's see, what else? I sit on several coalitions. One of the coalitions is the Maternal Equity Coalition here, which is based out of the Boston Public Health Commission. And what we have done is we have developed a maternal equity bill, which has passed, but the House and the Senate are arguing over the language. We want our commissioners to be Black and brown. The House had no problem with it. The Senate legal team does not want to pass it with the Black language and brown language in it. So we're not, we have until January 6th to figure this out. So we're meeting with chair committees, the chairman of these committees between now and the 23rd to convince them to, as Nakia Lawson would say, to gingerly convince them as Black women to move this bill forward. It has passed, but they will not complete the process as it's written.
Okay.
So I am, one of the people that congressmen and congresswomen come to when it comes to maternal equity, a maternal health bill, which is amazing. It's a wonderful thing to, at times on a Sunday night at 11:59, to get an email from a rep saying, hey, can you look at this? I have a meeting tomorrow at noon. I need you to look at it and give your feedback by then. That means you've arrived. You're the spokesperson that goes to the media. And you're able to bring other people with you. Last October, I say this with a smile because I didn't know it could happen. I was hoarse at the end of October because of the number of speaking engagements I had during that month. And people ask me all the time, well, what's the most that you've made and for what period of time of speaking? And in October, I made $1,000 for speaking for 15 minutes. So that's what I'm teaching people to do. I'm teaching people to be able to walk in as the expert and get paid doing it. I am not accepting clients, but I don't turn away clients. I have 4 births, well, 3 births planned for next year. One suffered a loss. My April birth resulted in miscarriage, so I supported her through that. And ironically, it was my stepson and his ex-fiance. So that was hard. Still is hard. But it's okay. That's the evolution, especially during a pandemic. Just as many pandemic babies are blessing us on coming here earthside, there are so many spirit babies being born right now. Yes. So that's where we are needed as support people more so than ever. I am launching something wonderful as of 1/1/21. It's never been done in the US before. And I'm keeping it under wraps until I can get everything trademarked, but be on the lookout because when it hits, it's going to be huge and people are going to be angry because I'm doing it and I'm a lay person per se, but that's okay. You have your place. I am a lay person. This is what people say all the time. And I'm like, really?
No,
how many lay people do you know have the experience that I have had?
It's just a passion and a knowledge and a wisdom that you have, right? I don't say the number letters behind your name. It is.
That's common sense.
It's why you do it.
That's right. Everything.
It's why you do it.
Everything that I do is not for me. It's in memory of my Anaya. I am her vessel because had she not died when she did, I would not be here. We both may have transitioned. She may have been here and I may have not. We don't know, but I'm here, and since she died the day in utero, the day before my birthday, and was born on my birthday, that was my rebirth. The blinders came off and I hit the ground running. 2021 will be my year. I didn't get to show off my red. I said this was my red year, from Ruta to Tuta. I was going to wear, I bought all this red at the end of 2019 saying that every event that I did, I was going to wear red. And no, this is just I support birth workers of color. Or is it Black birth? I support birth workers of color shirt that I've had for like 1,000,001 years that I'm wearing right now. It just happens to be red. But look for me in all red as of January for everything that I do, because I'm on fire. I am fire.
This girl is on fire.
This girl really is on fire, okay?
Yeah.
So what else do you want to know? What else do you know?
Well, you've already mentioned so many wonderful things. And yes, my cousin is on fire. And I love that confidence. And as a melanated birth worker, you have to have that confidence.
You really do.
Because
there's so many out here who are ready to tear you down. Sadly, many of them look like us. We do more damage to each other than we could expect the gatekeepers to do.
Yes.
And we have to stop. We don't have the time or the energy. I want to be a grandmother one day. I'm telling you right now. One day I would love to be a grandmother. But until we solve this crisis, my 15-year-old has already told me, my sister and I are never getting pregnant. So we have a few years, because she's going for her PhD in business, eventually. We have a few years, y'all, to straighten this out, because I'm going to be an angry Black woman. People accuse me now, but if I don't get my grandchildren, I'm going to be very angry.
I do want to touch on village, Sis Doula. The biggest part is village. We all have to uplift and
yes.
support. If it's not wisdom, if I need emotional support, my cousin I'm sending her a message. We have to collectively. It's not.
That's right.
When my sister win, we all win. When my brother win,
right.
When anybody in a community win. So that's why I love shining spotlight on different individuals, because we cannot do this alone, and we are not doing it alone. For me, it's like as my elders say, what's for you, baby, is for you.
That's right.
My mentors also said all this, all that. That momentum is no longer there for Black Lives Matter, but there will not be a Black life if there is not a Black uterus, right?
Yes.
Standing that and putting that knowledge and respect, right? We have different lived experiences. We all have a testimony, a story.
That's right.
Something to uplift and can save someone's life.
That's right.
So I may have a client that is experiencing something, and I'll be like, yo, cuz this is something, someone can give me information, so we support each other. If I'm saying that my other village sis has more experience with, then we will notify each other about that, because this is more than us. This is more than me. This is more than you. This is for everybody. We are all God's children, but it's melanated babies and mothers or gestational individuals who are dying right now, who are more fearful right now during the pandemic. And that fear and stress is also leading to more of our spirit babies, more of our lives are being lost. This is serious. This is more than me, more than you.
It's genocide. Let's just put it out there.
Yeah, you put anything you have aside, okay? Your pride, whatever. It is to save the lives of our children. We are all God's children. And it's going to take all of us. And all of us are going to have to be humble and come to the table and say, look, what we tried to do before, we have to do more. 2020, your eyes should be open. 2021 should be the step to come in and say, look, things before had to change, and now we have to make that change and be that change.
That's right.
I love her. But I keep saying that repeatedly because you've already shared a little insight into what you do. Everyone should take her course. I'm a bereavement doula because of my cuz, right? Trainings, fertility. I mean, it's a wealth of knowledge, but also lived experience. When you have that lived experience, you're like, this is something I wish I had or need to be done better. And then being proactive to make it happen, having that confidence to say that I can do it.
Yes.
I tell my son, you may not know everything, but you can learn anything. Having that confidence. And to learn anything to help your neighbor is even more empowering. But we're going to have to let that be humble, put all the pride and everything aside, because it's not about you, it's not about me. And I'm just blessed. And you my cousin. Look. Woo. So I always put a highlight on you because you have brought me so much light and so much wisdom and so much confidence and so much historical perspective of my adding to my reason why. People don't believe I'm an introvert and I'm shy, but I think I recall my focus is on my reason why and why my voice will be heard. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, even my clients and the research I do, a lot of individuals don't feel like their voice is heard. You do not hear me. But having that as collectively as a village, we need a tribe now, that my voice
Yeah.
will be heard. It's not if or when, it will be heard, right?
Yes.
And if you don't hear my voice, I'm going to bring my tribe behind me, and you are going to hear our voice collectively.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin, she done brought a fire in me. I'm going to have to read. My lips are red right now, so I'm going to spit some fire for you, as my brother would say.
Mine were red earlier, but I started stripping before the last Zoom, so before it was over.
And even my cousins too, we know how to wrap these scarves around, boy. I can do scarves. And not to even go back to belly bonding, I've done research and things like that too. But we, as a community, the melanated community, we're alchemists. We have so many talents, but also give recognition where it's due, right?
That's right.
Our wraps, our scarves, our hair, our braiding. It's just so much. But I'm emphasizing this as a melanated woman of an American with African descent, that we also need to give recognition to our culture, our history.
That's right.
And midwives, our wet nurses, all these things that we contribute, but also respect to where it's due, being humble, coming back to the table collectively, all our brothers and sisters, whoever you identify with, and say, look, we need to get to this whiteboard, right? Because right now, I'm not sure, my cousin may have information with the data, but more lives are being lost now
than ever.
They are able to really, I'm getting a little emotional, and I do get emotional, but more lives are being lost right now.
We have
there's a lot.
Families. Yeah, we have families who are lost in the postpartum side of things. The way that we used to do things are being questioned because of this pandemic, because of the lack of physical touch, the physical aspect of being a postpartum doula, the physical aspect of having the supports in place from the moment you give birth until you deem you don't need it anymore. And women and babies are suffering mentally. We've had several, I know up my way, we've had several suicides during this pandemic because mothers are feeling like failures. They leave the hospital nursing like a champ, and within days, without that additional ability for a lactation consultant to come into the home to help out, they're feeling like failures. They're feeling, not realizing that, you're not a failure, we're failing you. The system is failing you. And realizing that here in Massachusetts, we have only one Black IBCLC. One. And knowing that as a Black person, I'm not going to let anybody in my house that don't look like me. So this one Black IBCLC cannot cover every Black person in the state.
Yes.
So realizing that and noticing and bringing it to the attention of our legislators, bringing it to the attention of each other.
I'm glad you brought that up, because representation matters, right?
It really does, especially now.
And having that cultural piece, there is a huge distrust in the medical system. There's a history there. Read it. The history of gynecology.
This whole COVID-19 vaccination. I have been on so many calls.
And that trauma and trigger of what all images that we recently was all blasted all over media. I couldn't even look at anything. Of police brutality, of the community. There's so much more. Black Lives Matter for the world to see, but these are lived experiences that we know, we feel, we carry life. That is not anything new, but now that 2020, you have the open eyes, you have to do something about it. Everybody has something that they can contribute and that they can do, but representation also matters. We need more Black midwives. We need more Black lactation consultants. Postpartum, my cousin, she's trained me in so many different things. I provide virtual support, but also I'm also a certified health coach.
Mm-hmm.
Listening ear, non-judgmental listening
That's right.
ear, sis. And I always say
Closed
I'm
mouth open. Yep.
I'm learning to be more inclusive. So even family who may not identify as a female who is bringing life into this world, and melanin, right? Chest feeding versus breastfeeding, analogies, so you could be respectful of everyone and know that you open for that support. I don't know everything, but I can learn anything.
That's right. That's right.
I'm humble enough for you to correct me, because I'm used as a vessel to really provide that support that you need, right? For all of our community. I'm focused on our community as I speak, because we are dying at rates. And during this pandemic, you know, they do data for everything, but I mean, I have to call my cousin sometime to lift me up, right? Because as birth workers, we have to support each other.
That's right.
You have to, my elders say, give from your overflow, right? So all this, we have our own families and our own children. Also, given that extra spiritual, physical, and mental support, you have to give from your cup when it runs over. So village, Sis Doula, a whole concept of village is that if my cup is not running over, reaching out to my village sister, to our village, and say, hey, do you have something from your cup runneth over to support? Because we have to refuel each other, because right now, before it was terrible, but right now, 2021, there is no excuse that we need to be humble and come to the whiteboard and say, look, what do we need to do to work collectively in all communities? So, okay, I got to change my wardrobe to red. But my cousin, I'm so excited. We can speak for hours, don't even know.
Oh, yeah, we could be on here just going. I mean, I know one thing. We always talk about the village and how it takes a village to raise a child, but it takes a village to get this child and that mother and that father, or whatever the family dynamic looks like, through to that first year, so that they can support other people within their new village. We can no longer, gone are the days that, you know, it's just about me. I remember my grandmother telling me about the births, you know, the multitudinous births that her mother had, you know, being one of 13, and how the midwife would come, and then everybody in the community would come, you know, and wait for this baby to be born. And in the meantime, they're outside and there's music and there's celebration and all the food in the world, and the hog would be killed and the chickens would be killed. Can you imagine what our lives would look like today? I'm not saying kill a chicken or a hog. I'm vegan now. But can you imagine if we had these villages?
Yes.
So that we could support and uplift each other. I launched an initiative in September called Mama's Kitchen out of the AME Church here in Boston. And those missionaries just took it and ran. And what Mama's Kitchen does is, if you're pregnant, you're Black and you're pregnant, if you're Black in your postpartum, they've got you. You know, they check on you for that mental health piece. They, they bring food monthly. Holidays, they've got them. You know, all I have to do is provide the families, you know, and that's moving outward, you know, seeing that model does work. I'm moving outward, because each church is now going to be listed as a perinatal hotspot, safe space.
And that's needed.
Right, a national perinatal safe space.
Experience. I had postpartum depression because I had the expectation that I had to do it all alone. After being in a hospital 6 days, emergency C-section, my baby walking, seemed like. And I had the expectation that I had to do it on my own. And then when people came to visit, they thought they're just going to come and see a baby. But
exactly.
But knowing you have that village, that celebration of life, where you have meals and and coming in. I have a mentor that's even in the Middle East speaking about this, the significance of the 40 days after giving birth, not only for your—
Girl, let me tell you, the laying in period is life. Okay, I took mine. I didn't give anyone the opportunity with my last one. Never heard of it with the first 3. But I took my laying in period. The only thing I had to do was feed that baby. I didn't cook one meal. I went in for my 37.1 week induction as planned. But that day before, I made sure everything was ready for when I got back home from the hospital. And I had already told my kids, this is your last meal from me until, whenever. The only reason I broke my 45 days was because I got a call that someone needed me at a hospital, but my baby was underneath my clothes, being worn when I went to support another mother in her birth. What I did, and that 45 days fortified me. It really did. It nourished me. It allowed my uterus to contract and retreat. It allowed my organs to go back to normal. Granted, my hormones are still out of junction, but that's why I'm vegan. But I'm feeling more and more like my old self. Finally, the weight is coming off and everything, and I'm gonna be divalicious by February. So all those new clothes that I bought last year won't fit me anyway. No, I'm not there yet. I haven't gotten there. I need to get back down to my pre-lead. You'll see. You'll know when I'm there. You'll be like, dog, But it's one of those things where really recognizing to have people loving on you in addition to the baby, you're only during, and don't get me going because I can talk about 2 hours about postpartum care alone, if not longer.
Yeah.
But until we realize that we don't have to do everything, we can just say no. I keep telling women, you go home from the hospital, if you don't cook, will they starve to death? If you don't clean, will they get some sort of illness? The answer to that is no, because if you stop doing it, and I learned this a couple of weeks ago, if you stop doing it, other people in your surrounding will pick up the pieces and do it for you. Sometimes you just have to stop.
Healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries, especially when you're expecting, when you're postpartum, when you know that your mind has had enough. I had postpartum depression with my second baby only because I call it my loneliest year. She had had open heart surgery when she was 2 weeks old, and everybody was afraid. Everybody was afraid to come over. Everyone was afraid to do anything except for my grandmother. My grandmother worked herself like I've never seen her work in that year, simply because she knew she could see me wearing thin. And nobody understood that I needed that extra, I needed that village. I needed someone to come over and just have a cup of tea with me.
Yes.
I didn't need them to do anything else.
So what is it right now during everything's basically virtual, basically? What is it if someone say, what can I do? What can I do right now? What are some things that you could say of what that person can do right now?
Everyone, I don't know. I just want to put it on everyone, but I have become an Amazon Fresh phenom since this whole pandemic started. And I'm the best person to order a meal, order food and send it over to someone's house. Yeah, that's something you can do. That we all need eggs. We all need milk. There are certain staples that growing up Black, you just know that you're going to have in your refrigerator.
That cultural piece. That cultural piece of being aware of that is very important. It's something that you really can't teach. And
not at all. Not at all.
Also, but being respectful and understanding the terminology and the culture aspect you can learn, but there's certain that you just have to give recognition and respect for.
Exactly. Also, knowing that as a Black person, it's innately driven in me to know the warming foods that a new mother needs.
Warming foods, yes.
To know how to, I'm not saying I have had some bad greens in my life. but you know, my grandmother made sure I knew how to cook greens.
Yeah.
You know, and making sure that you can make a pot and just drop it off at the door, you know, say I'm leaving something on your porch
Yeah.
for you, you know, and knowing that that will help the new mother in so many, or the birthing person in so many ways. Getting all of, I mean, not, like I said, not everybody can cook. I understand that, but getting all of the cookers in your community. Church is still happening. It's virtual, but it's still happening. Place that call to action. You know, someone in your church family is about to give birth. Now is the time. Put together, you know, black-eyed peas and rice, you know.
So
Get,
what I'm hearing, and I don't want to cut you, I want to be respectful of everybody's time, but
mm-hmm.
often after I would present something like this and say, well, what can I do? But I'm here, Amazon, right? You could
Amazon Fresh,
put
Whole Foods.
you can Amazon wish list. And
that's right.
Clients know that EBT is accepted by.
That's right.
You can put a wish list there. If you know someone is expecting, just say, I'm leaving a dish. Some people don't trust everybody's cooking. That's a cultural.
Girl.
But you can even put fresh fruit and vegetables at the door, right?
That's right.
Water, right? So something you can just put outside and say, you know, I left a gift for you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that someone is thinking about you, just putting a note, but also that nourishment of providing different foods or
right.
Those are some things that I'm hearing from you and that I know as myself as a parent, that would be a blessing. So I'm glad you shared that, because a lot of people say, well, what can I do now?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been taking food. I grew up, this is the house I grew up in. So I know my neighbors and they're older, you know, and during this pandemic, I wanted to lessen their loads. And I order my water. I order everything now. So when Poland Springs drops off my cases of water, I already, you know, my son already knows. I've trained him.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take a case there. You got to take a case there. You got to take a case there. You know, when I order my groceries, always order extra. Go down and press the doorbell. You know, let them see my face. I don't have to interact to put a package on the porch.
Yeah.
You know, and they're green, you know, leafy greens. They're, you know, fresh fruit. There's stuff that I know everyone needs. It was a time when I heard from others, they were going into the store and they couldn't find things. I do my BJ's, you know, I order that online and have it delivered as well. Do my BJ's run. There are staples that everybody needs, you know, and I just order it and put it on their porch. Or if I get a call that a family needs, I take care of it. I make sure it happens. This is what you can do for your families in your communities. Even if you order a hot meal.
Hello,
you know.
Hello Fresh. There's meals that you can already, you know, prepped.
That's right. And then there's another one, a new one that just popped up that is only imperfect veggies. You know, but that's still something.
Yeah, bringing that village concept back, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that saying, I am my sister's keeper. We have to be
That's right.
I am my village keeper. And then
that's right.
It goes back to food, traditional foods. Like my cousin's vegan. I'm not quite there yet, but I did show.
It'll be 3 weeks on Monday, and I'm loving it.
But the thing is that I know how to prepare vegan food that is healthy and tastes good. Like I put a post, my husband, yeah, you wouldn't even know that it was vegan, right? But
right,
prepare it, and also the benefits from it, because some of those things that were provided culturally are not the best for us. So truly feeding your soul with
that's
right, in a healthy way. So I can prepare foods vegan if I like. I know how to. But also spreading that knowledge of sometimes we do virtuals of how to prepare certain foods, right? Like you can make walnut tacos, and the walnuts look just like ground.
Girl, I am learning, you know, that I've been having a blast eating.
Yes.
You know, these past few weeks. I mean, I don't get it twisted. I miss my fried chicken. I really do.
You can do that. I'll show you. There's a way you can do it.
It's still not chicken. There's no way to sugar. I mean, I know I can still have that stuff. Like I'm having some eggplant this evening.
Oh, you said there we go. My family. It's still like chicken, Cassie. Like it's.
It's still not chicken. I'm more, I'm looking for vegan. My sweet
Mhm.
potato pie for next week, I can't have. But I'm
Mhm.
making a vegan one for me
Yeah, you
that I'm
can.
determined to find the consistency and the taste that tastes just like the recipe my grandmother gave me. My
You still
grandmother,
can. So
it has to taste like hers. I can't have it tasting any different. Same with my pound cake, same with my sweet potato cakes and everything else that I'm making next week.
that's how
But
little Amir is. If it don't taste like grandmama's, he ain't. He said this don't taste.
no, because she used my great grandmother's, it's like
Yeah,
it's in me.
yeah,
And you spend time on that stool learning from your elders as a child.
exactly.
And there's always one person the only person who gets it right. Now,
Yeah,
the only person who gets it right is vegan.
like biscuit. People say, "Can I have your recipe?" I say, "I never had a recipe. It was
There was no recipe.
watching
Mm-mm.
what was done, right?"
That's right. Well, how
Um,
much of that did you put in? A
I'm
pinch and
like
a half,
a splash. I'm like, but
a dash.
that's one thing about different cultures is that it's that love you put in your food, but also feeding your body with food that's good for your soul.
Yes, yes.
Some of the things that was provided, that's all we were alchemists. We made do with what we had.
That's right.
So we
We
are
survived off of it
survived,
and thrived.
and thrived, right? But also being mindful of what you put in your body and what's around your body. So I want to be mindful of everyone's time. In closing, is there anything that you would like to share in closing?
In closing, 2021 is going to be an amazing year for everyone. Um, Prayerfully, when this pandemic lifts, um, we will be able to hit the ground running and to co-create some of the most beautiful initiatives that our communities need. We will be able to, and I'm watching my pussy willow tree as it moves, sways back and forth in a melodic, um, you know, melodic rhythm, saying yes, yes, but we just have to be prayerful and careful about who we align ourselves with, because not everyone's spirit is meant to be mixed and mingled with yours. Um, so I just watch people a little bit more, listen to what's being said of others. Um, and the money will come. Everyone is so, I want to make, I need to make, I have to make. When you're doing things in alignment with what God's plan for you is, the money just, the other day, I received a check for $300 from a 20-minute speaking gig that I didn't think I was getting paid from. So I had never counted that money. And I had just put it out to the universe saying, okay, Lord, I'm broke today. And there it was. When you're doing the right thing and on the right path, you don't ever have to worry about money.
Yeah.
So just stick with the village, be genuine, because the universe and God knows when you're not genuine. When you're in it just for $1, nothing is going to go your way. You'll get the clients, because everyone will have the clients. There's so many people out here who need us. But you will not get to the place, you might block your blessing in that manner. And I'm not saying, yes, you need to get your coins. I don't do much of anything for free anymore. But it has to be genuine. It has to come from your heart. Everything I do is in memory of my daughter, Anaya, because she saved my life. Had she not died when she did, I would not be here today. So I'm her voice and I'm her vessel. And in the 10 years, she'd be a 10-year-old. She's done so much more as a spirit baby than she could have possibly done as a prepubescent. What are they called now? Tweens?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, as a tween.
Yeah.
So I'm ever so grateful to her for this journey. And I can't wait to see how everything continues to unfold, because every time I think I'm there, something else happens that's greater. So I'm not done until I'm done,
And we
and
need
as always, I pay homage to not only my ancestors, but to Mama Claudia Booker.
Yes.
In midlife.
Beautiful. So
yes, always.
You see why I go to my cousin, because she gets me in line.
Yeah, and of course I always end up in tears and misty because it is deeply rooted and deeply set and ingrained.
I get emotional too, so you know.
I know, and we look at our history. This is our innate knowledge as Black people. You know, and that's something that we have to reach deep to figure out why we're here.
Yeah.
So I can be quiet because you know I was my class chatterbox, 30 years ago. I know how to talk. It's ingrained in me. Get the Jones side of my family together, and it's like, oh my God.
Well, that's a gift. We need all the gifts, and that's part of the village. We all have individual gifts. Some of us are not talkers, some of us are thinkers.
That's right.
When you bring all that together collectively, we are unstoppable, right?
That's right. That's right.
And give honor to our ancestors, because we because of what our ancestors had done.
That's right.
And we are even stronger now.
We really are.
Generation. So our ancestors, giving that strength and homage to our ancestors. So I love what you shared in conclusion as we close, and also doing it from the heart. Be genuine. I always want to give support to the village, entrepreneurs, what have you. Sometimes I may not have it, right? But I say, I really need this. And then I go to the mail and I'm like, well, where did this come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give those blessings that come back to you.
That's right, tenfold.
And keep your heart pure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people try you, but that's also very good to have your village to say, you know what, that's not about you. That's not the energy that you need. Refocus to the energy that's in line with you, because people will people will try you.
They'll try you. That's
in spice and everything nice all the time.
Ooh, they'll try you, Lord. They'll try you.
I'm a little bit.
And that's why we have cousins.
I'm a little bit hood and wish you would. I said a little different. Put that word on here, but I want to thank you so much, cuz, for coming on. I just love it. For you, I can speak to you all day. That's how you know we can.
Perfect timing, because little person's coming up to remind me that we need to go outside.
He hungry again. He want to eat again. So I just want to say thank you.
Almost ready.
And adore you. So peace, love, and light.